Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Old Head Gaming, and we just have what's going to be the update for March 7th launch of Tools of Torment. It basically says what 95% of the community's been saying is that the new killer's garbage and that this thing needs complete rework, and basically Dead by Daylight agrees she sucks. And here's what's going to be changing. I'll show you everything, including, they're going to be adjusting perks like Eruption and so forth. Let's take a look at the actual update. Alright, here we go. It's been about a week since Tools of Torment PTB went live, and we've been busy combing through your feedback in the days. Today, we'd like to share some of the package and polish of balance adjustments which we prepared for chapter's release on March the 7th. As always, we want to give your appreciation for everyone who took the time to share your thoughts on this new content. Your feedback has been invaluable. The Skull Merchant. First up, deploying drones to begin with. In the PTB, releasing a drone would put your power on cooldown for 12.5 seconds. This could feel a little limiting considering the drones already cannot be placed within a certain range of each other. We've decoupled deploying drones from the power's cooldown. The cooldown now is used solely for reactivating existing drones and furthermore has been lowered to 10 seconds. Once a drone is deployed, it will take 4 seconds to become active. This gave survivors a lot of time to react, move away from it before locking on. We have lowered the initialization time to 3 seconds. Speaking of newly placed drones, survivors were previously capable of disabling a drone after only 5 seconds. For the release, we're increasing the unhackable window to 10 seconds. Once the drone becomes hackable, it will remain active for additional 20 seconds. For a total of combined active time of 30 seconds, much like the PTB, the killer can reactivate the drone while using their scanner. As the killer staying inside, the active drone radius for 3 seconds would grant you undetectable status, allowing you to ambush survivors. This could create some awkward moments where you'd be standing around waiting for the effect to kick in, so we're reducing that to 2 seconds. For survivors, spending too long in the active zone can be dangerous. Drones will lock onto survivors in the radius, making them exposed. However, the short duration could make it difficult for killer to react unless they were already chasing survivor. We made a few changes to the lock-on mechanic for the release. Lock-on duration has been increased to 60 seconds from 30. An incomplete lock-on will start to decay after 10 seconds of an existing active zone was 5. Entering an active zone while locked on will reset your lock-on to 60 seconds to prevent it from decaying until you leave the zone. The Skull Merchant can now see survivors' lock-on progress in order to better plan their chases. Besides locking on, the drones are also a powerful tool for tracking survivors. In the PTB, we found to be a little difficult to fully take advantage of your eye in the sky, so we made some changes to that as well. We know she sucked, let's make her not terrible. Claw Trap battery life has been increased to 45 seconds, was 25. Survivors will no longer receive an indicator when their location is revealed by the Skull Merchant scanner. Thank God. The Skull Merchant will move faster while checking the radar. Now 4.4 milliseconds was 4. Just looking at a radar shouldn't make you creep along. Sound effects have been updated to provide a clear notification when a survivor has been tracked. With this in mind, survivors will want to be much more wary when they come to facing the Skull Merchant. To ensure that doesn't make her too frustrating to play against, we've taken some additional considerations. Approaching a drone with a claw trap will no longer cause it to enter unhackable state, preventing survivors from interacting with it. Survivors with a claw trap can now disable drones, but keep in mind that entering the drone's range will cause it to activate and recharge your trap's battery. Survivors who fail to hack will now be immediately locked on. Whether drones are locking onto survivors or she's tracking their every move, you hope to find these changes make the Skull Merchant a much bigger threat than she was when she releases on March the 7th. Well, I mean, all those changes are absolutely necessary. She was basically completely worthless on the PTB, and actually I didn't even want to buy the chapter because of how bad she was. Alright, so it looks like we got 3 perk changes. First one's going to be Eruption. We all know what's happening here. During the PTB, Eruption was changed to no longer make survivors incapacitated, and its regression was changed from total to current progress. While the removal of the status effect worked exactly as we'd hoped for, the shift in current progress was proved to be a little too far. For the chapter release, Eruption's regression will return to its 10% of the generator's total progress. Okay, that's fair. I get taking away 1 perk, but completely eviscerating the perk made no sense. Thwack, which is so far the most fun perk to say, but has been completely useless because who in God's name is going to stop the middle of a chase because you broke a pallet to go chase someone else? Beyond being a fun name to say, well, it is. Thwack causes survivors to scream and reveal their aura to the killer. This perk requires the killer to hook a survivor in order to activate. To avoid any unneeded pressure for the killer to seek out and break a pallet or wall, we have removed the timer. Makes sense. Thwack will now remain active indefinitely upon hooking Survivor until it has been deactivated upon use. That makes sense. I think that's a fair trade. Still a useless perk, but makes it a little bit better. Background player. This is Ronaldo. Lyra caused him to break into sprint upon unhooking a Survivor. Pew! Many pointed out that it left an unhooked Survivor alone at the hook. Sure did, making them easy prey for the killer. Background player is receiving a rework in time for the release. The perk now activates when the killer picks up another Survivor, and the duration of the sprint has been reduced to 4 seconds. How you choose to use this speed is up to you, whether you're trying to get in the position to save, get closer for a rescue, or simply get away as fast as possible. We leave that to you decide. The Tools of Torment chapter will drop on March the 7th. We'll be watching. Until next time. So there you have it. We basically made her okay-ish. Like, she's still bottom tier. She's not real fun to play, and it's just another gen defender, much like what they had to do with Knight, except in this case, Knight came out of the box absolutely worthless. At least they buffed her a little bit, so she's not as terrible. Thwack's still a pointless perk. Eruption, I think, is a little bit fairer to both sides. And Background Player was going to be the most hated Survivor perk in the planet, because it basically meant like you just were a selfish bastard using it, because you'd unhook someone and then you take off like the Roadrunner, beep, and then you'd leave the poor Survivor like, I'm already broken, please help me, and then the killer would just tunnel them out. So I like how they're changing it to a reactive perk rather than after a hook, so that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a much fairer perk to both sides, and I don't think it'll be as positive to killers as it almost became as a killer perk, because of the fact that you just leave some poor dying Survivor left behind as you ran off into the night. Let me know, what do you think about these changes to Tool of Torment? Has it changed your mind on the chapter? You still think it's terrible? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's better? Do you think it's worse? I want to hear your thoughts. Are you picking it up on March the 7th? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mate.